In the beginning, there was a steaming pile of shit. Over time, it grew out of the ugly duckling it once was, mostly. Eventually, it delivered, perhaps a little too late, but there's a reason it's not completely bereft of a player base. And what is that reason, I hear you say? Let's have a look at how far we've come with this game and how things play today in likely the biggest bungle in Battlefield history. It was a modern Battlefield, postmodern even, giving us futuristic ways to engage in combat. Destruction everywhere, the promise of wacky antics, objective-based gameplay, all the good stuff. Plenty of meat and potatoes. Very unwelcomely, under the face of it, some strange, kooky stuff was going on. Who is this guy? Why do I care? Where are the people? Is this even Battlefield? The marketing and hype for 2042 was of epic proportion, but it was barreling headlong into needing a Cyberpunk 2077-like revival after the shit hit the fan. Even now, with the game finally complete, it still feels incomplete. Battlefield 2042 has everything and somehow nothing at all. There's a dissatisfaction to 2042 that's hard to describe at times. Most won't even try to analyse it. They'll just have a go at it, say yeah, nah, and then leave it for dust. On the surface, there's a plethora of content today. The bugs and kinks are well and truly worked out. It's actually a good game, in its own way. However, by nature of its predecessor's strong points, it leaves a lot to be desired. There's a soulless vibe that lingers on many big Battlefield moments in 2042 that should feel unforgettable. This unsatisfying feeling fostered a disinterest and was a very damning notion for the series. This title did a great deal to slough off what was otherwise a healthy, thriving community. For die-hard loyalists and casual players alike, it just didn't land. Was that EA's fault for pushing a half-baked mess? Or was it the natural consequence of massive changes not meeting consumer expectation? The answer is probably both. A precedent had been set. Battlefield wasn't just another shooter, it was one of the best. It gave us so much more. Larger scale, more creativity, more depth to the chaos. But with 2042, it seemed to be losing its way. Speculation spread like wildfire. What even was this game supposed to be? Investigations within the community unearthed the theory that 2042 wasn't meant to be a Battlefield title at all, but a Battle Royale project repurposed halfway through development. The truth remains murky. What isn't murky is that thanks to what we actually got, players walked. A lot of players. 2042 was one burn too many, especially after people disoriented by Battlefield 5 as well. These players more or less prepared to say goodbye for good. What they left behind were likely the greatest lessons of 2042. Lessons in desperate need of learning if they were going to get this franchise back on track. There are definitely some good memories to be had of Battlefield 2042, if mostly by virtue of the hilariously catastrophic launch. This doesn't speak for everyone, but one of the biggest takeaways from this entry is that despite all the things happening, all the Battlefield stuff you'd get from any other title, it just doesn't feel Battlefield. Those moments don't stick. EA really got a 2-for-1 deal on this one. Not only did a behemoth of a franchise lose most of its future relevance, it lost its supporters too. The damage well and truly done. A mostly salvaged game remains. Massive work has gone into 2042 to reclaim itself from the dust of its own wake. It's done a pretty good job too. There's a lot of polish around this. 2042, again, it's a pretty good game, but it still stands that at its worst, it shattered its player base. At best, it provided a roadmap for the future. Could 2042's failure be the catalyst for a triumphant return? Maybe a misstep of this scale was necessary to remind the bigwigs what truly matters. Listening to your players. The reason that's so vitally important is that is your target audience. A concept that seems to be withering as AAA studios seem to keep doing whatever the hell they decide. This misplaced following of industry trends, trying to make the next big thing by pulling directly from other bigger games, or jamming inclusivity and diversity down people's throats. It's not working. Perhaps we can't imagine what goes into making a game, sure, but god damn, who better than the players, literally giving you the answers to get your game good? And maybe that's exactly what was about to happen. The game saw its numbers swell again, defying the odds, resurfacing from the abyss, not from its own achievement, but from its failure that gave life to the potential of the future. A new Battlefield game is on the horizon, and boy is the hype off the charts on this one. Gives everything back all at once, paying homage to the days of old, lending itself again to its core identity. It's often said that the good and the bad is all part of the grand scheme. It's all necessary on one's destined path. Sorry to get philosophical on you, but Battlefield 6, the comeback of comebacks. This is the reason for the player base swell in 2042. Cosmetics calling back to the greatest time in Battlefield history, available on Battle Pass, yes, but there's an itch burning for players. They need some fix in the form of a modern Battlefield to sate their appetite in the meantime. So for now, 2042 it is. The question is, will 2042 live on?
Good night, sweet prince.
Or will it wither in finality to a husk? Gone and forgotten, now the boys are back in town. A new era awaits. There's an example here of publishers and developers listening to their players. A lesson that the AAA industry has desperately needed to learn. In a period of time where the AAA studios are bungling their way through atrocious releases, installing distasteful political messaging, huge staff layoffs, and just dumpster fire behaviour toward players and their customer base, we see here that listening isn't just good practice in the gaming industry, it's essential. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like it, subscribe it, share it, tell your friends, all the things. I said all the things, alright, I'm sorry. Love you. Bye. Bye.